Donnie and Dolly, the team is supported by ableauctions.ca. Closing your business? We can help.
Our guests today are sponsored by Basant Motors. That includes Craig Button standing by. Basant trying to do Santa's job again this Christmas. They are giving away gifts with all purchases. Learn more at basantmotors.com. Delaney's OK Tire and Langley inbox. Just before we get to Ryan. Hey, Ryan, just invest in a YouTube premium account, which is $10 a month, and it's ad-free, and you won't have to worry about about that problem on the show. Jake from Langley. And thanks, Jake, for the advice.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jake.
So if you get YouTube premium, the ads don't show up in the middle of a video.
Yeah.
Or hit pause like I say.
You guys
all
want
the
to split
time.
the 10 a month?
Well, I
not,
can't afford
Yeah,
that.
there we go. Derek, you in on that?
Yeah, 4 ways.
The voice of God is the only one who could afford $10 a month. Craig Button joins us now. He's worth more than $10 a month. TSN Scouting Director. Craig, thanks for doing this, sir. How are you?
You've just increased my value. I might get in the NFT market now.
It was 8. You're up to 10. Happy to tell you that. Hey, Craig, how much confidence do you have in these crazy times, serious times that we're going through, but how much confidence do you have in the NHL's decision-making process, especially considering the NHL was able to hand out the Stanley Cup the last couple of years?
100%. And I think that you just touched on it, what they've been able to do in the last two, playoff seasons. You look back to March 2020, and that hit all of us unexpectedly, and nobody knew. The best health and science and medical people didn't know what it was going to be, what the impact was going to be. The NHL all the way through from that day and all the way until today, when they announced that the Columbus Blue Jackets were going to be shut down until post-Christmas break. Again, like the return to play, the bubble, last year postponing the beginning of the season, creating the different divisions, absolutely getting as much information and the best information from their medical experts and health experts so that they can minimize the risk to the greatest extent possible. And, and it's not just the NHL, it's also the NHLPA. And they're working in collaboration here. And, when they looked at what was happening here since Sunday of last week, when the Calgary Flames went into their COVID protocols and ultimately got shut down, is that they say we're comfortable right now going on a case-by-case basis. And, we have the winter pause, the Christmas pause coming up. The thing that I would say is that I think they have demonstrated beyond any shadow of a doubt that they are going to try to do two things in conjunction. Continue on the season as best as they can with the advice of the health experts and understanding what the situation from a health perspective. And so my confidence level is 100%. And they haven't shown me there should be any less than that.
Craig, how do you answer people like Steve Eisenman, with all due respect to him, who say, boy, you look at what the NFL is doing, where their testing policy is much more relaxed than the NHL, and they're able to continue on with their season. How do you answer people who say those sorts of things?
Well, that's Steve's opinion, but I'm going to be very straightforward here. I'm not taking my medical or science advice from Steve Eisenman. I'm just not going to do it. He's speaking anecdotally. We know what the NFL did, and that's great. We just talked about the NHL and the NHLPA and the science table they have advising them. That's where I'm going. I'm not going to hear about, the cases were light. That's great. That's wonderful. That's good news. Don't get me wrong here. I'm not trying to say it's not, but I'm not taking any guidance from the non-science, non-medical people. Mm-hmm. And the NHL isn't either. So while Steve Eisenman has a legitimate anecdotal commentary about it, that's great. That's exactly what it is and nothing more.
Craig, the World Juniors, tell us a little bit about, are you hearing anything about possible fans there, or they might not let fans in? Any update at all from the World Juniors in Red Deer and Edmonton?
The only update I have is that, they postponed some of the pre-tourney games. That came to light on Saturday. And trying again, Hockey Canada and the Alberta Health Services working in conjunction to try to, number one, minimize the risk to the greatest extent possible in the public sphere. And then, again, trying to find a way to have the tournament come off. I mean, these protocols that were in place, were established long ago. Negative testing before the other countries could get on a plane, coming into a quarantine period, continuous testing, and now, going into a tighter bubble with the teams. I mean, these are all the things that they're doing. But like the NHL and the NHLPA, you have to be agile and you have to be nimble and you have to be getting the information on a regular basis. And when I say regular, in real time, like what's the new information? What does it mean? How do we make sure that what we're going to enact is something that's reasonable and practical and has the basis of science and medical advice behind it? And so today, we know that there's going to be a revised schedule released on the pre-tourney games. The plan is for every team to play one game, but tomorrow might be different based on new information. And I think that what I would say to that, Rick, is that it is fluid. I don't know, what the information is with respect to fans and what the capacity limits could be. We saw Manitoba, we saw BC, we saw Ontario, we saw Quebec do different things. The tournament is taking place in Alberta, and what we have to do is wait to understand, what next steps are, if any.
Hey, Craig, our poll question, I want to get your thoughts on it. Is it important for the Canucks to have a diverse front office? There's word that Jennifer Botterill, her name has popped up as some sort of a role with the Canucks down the road here. Your thoughts on diversity in front office for NHL teams?
Well, I think diversity is always important in any organization you're working in. You have people, and diversity includes so many different aspects of experience and, what you can offer to decision making, what you can offer to, solutions and whatnot. And everybody comes from a different angle and from a different experience. So the more diversity that you can have that allows you to have as much information as you go into making those decisions, there's nothing, and there's no way anybody can say that is a negative. That's only a positive. And, but understanding what those experiences are, and then understanding how those experiences can help us make the best decisions possible, I think it should always be a goal. And I don't think it should ever be limited, and evaluating it for that and then move forward. And it's not like you're saying, okay, today we have inclusion, today we have diversity. You're always looking to find diversity, inclusion in your organization, in your decision making, because by having more of that, you're going to have a more complete, what I would call, world experience view. And sometimes, that can be from, think about Europeans coming to the NHL. Yeah. Everybody poo-pooed Europeans, right? Like, come on, give me a break. Like, and now it's the same thing here. So, it's continuous, and it's got to be carried out on a continuum with the idea that it's only going to make everybody better.
Critical thinking. One more, Craig, if you don't mind. This is from last week. I don't believe we brought this up with you, but what can you tell us about new Canucks Assistant GM? I'm putting you on the spot here, Derek Clancy.
Well, I'll tell you about Derek. And so Derek worked with Jim Rutherford for a number of years in Pittsburgh, right? And so Derek has a really good understanding of the league, and he has a really good understanding of what Jim is looking for, right? So when you take, and he's had successful experiences. Like, let's not forget, he was part of Stanley Cup winning championship teams in Pittsburgh. So when you come with that type of a background, you understand the person, the president of hockey operations, in this case, Jim Rutherford. Jim Rutherford is trying to round out his staff with respect to helping him, understand what the next moves can be. Derek has been working for the Calgary Flames this year, so he leaves them, but he's current. And, he's somebody that has a really, really strong grasp on the information that is necessary for Jim Rutherford and for the others that are going to come into his sphere of influence that's going to help them, proceed and move forward. The other thing, if you don't mind me just saying this too, is I saw the picture behind you of Stan Smeal, former captain of the Vancouver Canucks, who was just named the vice president. Yeah. And listening to Stan last week on the broadcast, and he talked about culture and everything. I was just sitting there in awe. Stan obviously is a player and somebody that cares deeply about the Vancouver Canucks. I thought spoke so well and expressed so well about what it means to be part of something successful and how excited he was. So I'm excited to see Stan, come into the sphere of influence with the Vancouver Canucks. I think that's a positive thing as well as a consideration of Jennifer Botterill, who's a very intelligent and experienced person with her very successful and accomplished. She'll be a future Hall of Famer. There's no question about it. Hockey career. So again, Derek Clancy, Stan Smeal, Jennifer Botterill, others that are going to come into the sphere of influence. This is all positive for the Vancouver Canucks.
As we let you go here, Craig, one thing I love about our hits with you, every time I say I'm going to put you on the spot, you laugh. Because there's no such thing as putting Craig Button on the spot. He knows everybody. He knows everything there is to know about hockey. That's why you're the best in the business, Craig. Thanks so much for this.
And Craig, he puts me on the spot all the time. I fold like a cheap tent. You don't.
I'm gonna jump in your defense there, Rick. And I don't think you fold. You fold. The only thing you fold is your clothes.
He doesn't even do that.
But listen. You know what, Don, I really appreciate that. I love being part of your show. I love being talking things with you. And I just wish you and everybody in your sphere of family and friends and the love and the kinship you share the very best during this holiday season. Be safe. And like I said, I find it a real, true honor to be part of your show.
Thanks so much, Craig.
Best of the best.
Happy holidays, Craig. Thanks so much.